Hey guys. Hey guys. Morning time live stream? Watch it in the morning? I have a Mario Kart World. If you didn't know, if you weren't aware, I have it. The game. Just turn on desktop audio so any notifications go through. Little jingle plays. Yeah, check this out. It's called a Switch 2. Ooh, that's interesting that the input capture is coming through both the desktop and the input capture. Does that play a double sound for you guys? Oh, it's also coming through the video capture. Hold on. This is my first time actually using this damn thing. Can you guys still hear this? Sorry, I've got a little bit of a cough. So you'll have to excuse me if I cough here and there. Yeah, I'm excited to try this. Try out streaming in the the daytime. Yeah, so here's Mario Kart World. Okay, now I can't hear it. Uh, Mute this. Add audio input capture. Existing. Yes. Okay. Sure. Yeah, let's check this out. Um, I've already, this is not my first time playing. I've been playing this for since, Switch came out, so that's like about damn, Switch came out July 5th? Not July 5th, June 5th. So it's been about 2-ish weeks. Yeah, I've gotten most everything unlocked. So I figured I'm just sitting here playing the online. Why not stream it? Ah, you know, why not? I'm usually rocking this Rosalina Rob bike combo. I find it quite fun. And yeah, I've actually really been enjoying this. Um, that $80 price tag, rough, but quote Vinny, every minute I have fun playing this, that price tag ticks down. Um, is the game worth $80? I'm, I'd say maybe it's worth 70 at most. 70 I'd be okay with, because, then it's fine, like, fine. That's new standard, whatever. 80? It's a bit tough. You know what I'm saying? This morning I didn't do this because I just wanted to, do something simple, just load it up. Load up the stream. But something I do want to start trying to do is streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. Um, because I figure I already have a pretty big subscriber count on YouTube. Why not? It's allowed. You know? So why not? I don't know how well this morning slot for streaming does, but I figured I'd try it out. I'm sure it works well for, say, Australians or people in Asia, or people looking to watch something in the early hours of their workday. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. I just think, I think it's an interesting experiment to try. Early morning stream. And also, I was not really paying attention to that first lap, and I'm doing not half bad. So that's good. Uh, yeah, no, a lot of fun here with this game. It's gonna be interesting keeping an eye on chat. Um, while playing this. Because Mario Kart's very much something that you need, and focus on. Don't know why I just got rid of my item. Also known as my only defense. No, now this is not to say I'm not also going to do night streams. Um, and yeah, you know what? Daytime streams can work out better for people in different situations too. Like, for example, right now for you, Ruby Scoob, you're on vacation, so this morning stream's working out. Um, So yeah, I want to try and mix it up with both daytime and nighttime streams. See what happens. Just in general, I want to start. I want to stream more. Wow, 13. That's not great. I'm not the best at this game. I just like playing. I find it fun. I think it's a fun game to play and talk over. I think it might be a bit fun to watch. Here's the funny thing. I never bought Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so I actually just cannot give that comparison. Um, when it first came out, because, I had a Switch day one, and I had this day one, but when it first came out, I was like, no, I already have Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, and I already played it, and I already played a good bit of the online. I think I'm good. You know? Yeah, it's got all the DLC packed in, and, like, a couple new characters. I don't need that, though. And then they just kept adding more shit to it, and I just kept not buying the game, and yeah, I I never ended up owning Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, I did have Mario Kart 8 on Wii U. I did, yes. Um, but again, that was an entire console generation ago, so I just straight up do not remember. That was when I was still a teenager, an early teenager even. You know. Switch came out what? March 3rd, 2017? So yeah, that came out when I was, let's see. That would have been the second half of sophomore year for me, I think, of high school. Yeah, so like asking me to think back to the Wii U is asking me to think back to like high school and earliest high school and middle school. And I don't have that memory. I remember playing it, but I don't remember what it was like. And I know 8 Deluxe is different than 8. Um, so yeah, I simply could not tell you what the major are. But from what I've heard from people who have played this and 8 Deluxe, this is still very good comparatively. Um, I haven't talked to very many people because this shit's expensive as hell. Um, you know, that Nintendo tax. Oh yeah, dude, Splatoon. Thing is, in high school, I was like one of the only like okay, I'd say like on the internet, the niche that I'm in, this like Siva Gunner YouTube poop music video adjacent area I'm in, where everyone's a Nintendo nerd and everyone's like playing indie games and dude, like the people at my high school, like straight up like I don't think most of them own Nintendo consoles. I think they like owned the last one they owned was like a Wii or a DS, you know? And like if they ever have bought another one since then, at this point it's probably for their kids. Thank you for the follow, Aaron Flow. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, so it's, and I didn't go to a very big high school either. So like there just really wasn't excuse me. There really wasn't you know, too big of a scene for like-minded individuals of us Nintendo, us pretendo Nintendlers, you know. Um, I really like just spamming OK. I think that's fun. Uh, what you gotta do in the online here is always pick random. Otherwise, you're going to get an intermission course. Just like driving between the courses. Oh, that's awesome. Um, yeah, I think like I was like maybe one of three like kids in my high school who owned a 3DS, and maybe like one of two who owned a Wii U. You know, so it was just it was hard for me to have pretty much anyone that I was excited to play stuff like Splatoon with. You know, I was kind of lone wolf in it in terms of being a Nintendo fan. Up until I really started, actually using the internet and making friends online. Um, the online's fun. It's fun. I probably have much more than 47 friends. Um, for I'm gonna be real. For somebody like me, it is a bit harder to socialize in real life, and I think it also just the area that I live in doesn't help with that. Um, so the internet is very much a godsend for finding like-minded people and making friends. I mean, Cannoli, that is true. I do have a friend inside me. How about that Deltarune, huh? Super great release. My biggest fear with Deltarune going forward was that maybe that Toby couldn't keep up the momentum. That fear has been assuaged. Well, assuaged for now. There's always the chance that any upcoming chapters couldn't, you know, could just fall short. Which, that's just how it's going to be. But I think Toby Fox can do it. I think Tony Fox can do it. Oh, weird. I did hear about that bug, though. Okay, sorry, I had to mute the mic for a second. Like I said, I've got a bit of a cough right now. And wow. And sometimes it hits. So I don't want to subject y'all to that. But yeah, man, that Deltarune fucking kicked ass. If you haven't gotten through chapter 4, you're in for a hell of a time there, man. This game's story picks up from fucking 0 to 100 in these two chapters. Bowja Cashel. yeah, so back to the earlier bit. It's nice having friends to be able to talk online with about my interests and stuff. It's not like I haven't made friends in real life. It's just usually it's in contexts where they're not really people I seeked out. They're just people that I happen to be around, and the case with it is usually is that random chance ain't gonna give you perfect matches. Womp womp. And honestly, neither is the internet. But yeah, recently, internet-wise, I've been feeling pretty, uh, like I've found a place again now that I've gotten back into Sea of a Gunner. Um, and helping with doing stuff for Sea of a Gunner. Oh yeah, no, internet friends are real friends. It's not. Yeah, no, that's not a question. But yes, Sea of a Gunner. I've been doing a lot of Sea of a Gunner stuff lately. Um, in fact, I've been doing Sea of a Gunner stuff instead of stuff like Epic Gamer Comic. Wow, that's... I will need to read that message between rounds. Because I do not have enough time for my eyes to be off the screen. And Churd Life, dude. Dude, I need to finish Churd Life. And I'm at the point where I'm just considering doing lesser graphics for now in Churd Life. Just to get it done. Get the story out there. Because, the Churd Life art style is some of... It's very phenomenal, I think. But at the same time, the Churd Life art style is probably why I haven't finished Churd Life. So if I could downgrade it to just like simple flats and cell shading, that probably would help the story actually happen. I'm being back in Sea of Gunner and helping managing projects. Uh, it really teaches you discipline and when things should probably be scaled back when you're actually managing projects for like a team. Uh, and I think that can help with personal projects as well. Dude, I'm gonna be so real with you. Gigglecorp ain't happening. I've said this elsewhere. Gigglecorp ain't happening. Like, that is a dead project. Asshole took 7th place from me. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just Dom has entirely moved on. Gigglecorp was something he started when he was in high school, and it was when he was doing a lot of exploration of his identity and stuff, both artistic wise and personal wise. And it's just something that is not something he personally wants to make anymore, and that's fair. That's fine. Um, that is something I can and will respect. As much as I would love to see that, that that full episode come to fruition, I just kind of gotta accept that either I make all of it, which I just really don't want to at this point, or it just doesn't happen. And that's fine. I am okay with this. Um, I've discussed with Dom different things. He's okay with me releasing my parts for it, but I kind of feel awkward about that. um, without having the full product, around it. But, as the years go by, our friendship will never die. Uh, as the years go by, I will never die. And as the years go by, Dom, I think, gets a little bit more and more okay with little individual bits being able to be released and stuff. I think eventually I'll probably be able to convince him to let me just splice my finished animation parts in with the storyboards, which I also made. Um, which at that point, splicing in my finished pieces of animation, um, with the storyboards, I'd be okay with releasing that as something. But of course, it's all up to Dom because it's his thing. You know, I didn't make it before. I don't have the authority and say so over what gets to be released. Um, would I like to try to make another animated project one day? You fucking bet I would. And when I do, it'll probably, at least like in terms of making a full like animated episode of something, it'll probably be Shard of Life. Epic Gamer Comic. I've been throwing around the idea of doing like animated like YouTube shorts or something with that for ages. Um, in particular, I think like it'd be cool to like set up like a flash rig of like the Epic Gamer Comic like generic sprites, um, and actually like make little animated versions of like the existing comics. Get friends together, actually do some voice acting for Gene and Eric and Kate and Chad and whoever. Um, and I think obviously it just make little animated versions of the existing comics. Uh, just for like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, that type of thing. And obviously, when I eventually do get around to Mean Fuck Kingdom Steve, I will use the audio. Like, I don't even care if that audio is mostly AI generated. It's the fucking audio. I'm not going to use any other audio for Meet and Fuck Kingdom Steve, obviously. Yeah, exactly. Pop Team Epic is actually a huge inspiration, I think, for what I would want to do with the Epic Gamer comic animations, especially in the voice acting department. Like, part of the idea I've thrown around is giving different guys to like be Gene and Eric in every single one. That would get a little bit harder in ones that are female involved, considering I know less female friends that would be willing to voice act. But I really appreciate that between DS and this game, they patched in that bit of road with some dirt instead of having to just be torn off bridge. I really appreciate that of them. Oh man, that submerged 3DS story is tragic. I lost my very first DS to water as well. Um, but in a unique way. The DS itself did not get in water, right? And I'm so mad that this happened to that DS too, considering it was like the little like limited edition Zelda DS that came with Phantom Hourglass. Um, but um, I don't think Dolphin Shoals is a course in this, sadly. but you can be Dolphin on Dolphin Bike. But yeah, with the DS, what happened was I had an action replay. I left in my pocket, which I was at like a little summer thing. So like I was already wearing swim trunks all day, so that was my pockets for the day, um, swim trunk pockets, and I left the action replay in my pocket when I went to go get in a pool, and the action replay got just fucking soaked, right? And I was like, damn, that sucks. But at least it wasn't the 3DS. Not 3DS, but at least it wasn't the DS. And then, like an idiot, I go and put the thing in my DS and it fries the DS. Just actually breaks it. Um, Lucky for me, my parents were like internet savvy enough at the time to be able to like go on eBay and get me like a cheap new DS. Which I still have that one to this day. I still have the Zelda one too. You know, I never got rid of it. It's just it has been unable to turn on for over a decade. I hate boomerang. It's not. It's just not a good item. It's all right, but it's just not good. It barely knocks people out. It's just it's so just not worth. I'd rather have a green shell. Same with they added in ice flowers into this one. And it's just like fire flowers were already like kind of a lame power up. Fire flowers are like a better version of boomerang though. But yeah, like and then that hammer item you just saw, that's just a better version of the fire flower. But yeah, it's like we already had like what was already a pretty lame item in the fire flower, and then they go ahead and just kind of clone it and color it blue for the ice flower, and it's just like, well, why did we do this? Was this an 8 Deluxe? Was this a change in 8 Deluxe, or is this new to this game? When in Mario Kart history did triple bananas start actually circling around you? No, DS. No, I played DS last night. And in DS, if you get triple bananas, they trail behind you. Like, all three of them. They don't circle around you. In DS, they trail behind you too. Yeah, it might have been Wii. Um, this is an interesting actual, like, good thing to, like, look up. Um, I know in 64, it wasn't triple bananas, it was quintuple bananas. In 64, they gave you 5 bananas instead of 3. And I think in Double Dash, there wasn't a triple banana item, there was, like, the big banana item. So we might be the right answer for that. Uh, Speaking of DS, we just played Airship Fortress a second ago. We're about to play DK Pass. It's really interesting to me that this game has three DS retro courses. Um, Desert Hills has kind of lost its sauce, but both DK Pass and Airship Fortress are so good in this game. It's like they are the best versions of those courses out of anything, you know? Like, this is such a good rendition of DK Pass. And they kept the snowballs and everything. They didn't keep all the snowballs. But, you know, the snowballs are still present. Unlike the pokies and fireballs in Desert Hills. So, you know, I gotta give them that much credit. My favorite course of all time. You mean like out of any Mario Kart? That's tough. Um, it might just be one from DS since that's the one I grew up with the most. Um, because I never owned Wii as a kid for some reason, despite having a Wii. Um, I only had DS as a kid, and then I got Mario Kart 8, and I don't. Mario Kart 8, as cool as its stages are, I don't really remember them all that well, you know. But DS is, I feel like they've stuck with me. Like something like Waluigi Pinball, you're not gonna forget that. You know what I'm saying? Waluigi Pinball, that's gonna stick in your mind. DK Pass, it's stuck in my mind. Uh, Desert Hills is not too early. TikTok Clock from DS is really interesting and neat. Um, Airship Fortress might be it. Like, I remember, like, when I saw, like, in the marketing material for this, when I saw Airship Fortress, I got so hyped. Shy Guy Bazaar is a really good one from 7, and I'm really glad that it's, back in this game. God damn. Well, I just got fucked. I can probably stay in 14. Sure. I think I'm gonna have to give it to Airship Fortress. I love the concept so much. It's so fun that you're like going across this like broken castle onto an airship, back out like a cannon into the broken castle again. It's just such conceptually it is just so good. Um, so here's the thing about the volatile nature of World. Uh, it doesn't have to be volatile. It's really only volatile when you're playing. Oh, you're talking about like that? Yeah, no. Genuinely, like it's kind of hard to keep your place in World. I thought you were talking about like course wise, but yeah, no. Uh, Placement wise, it's kind of tough to catch back up. That's something I have found. Um, Damn, I've almost gone down like 200 points on my online ranking because of just like getting fucked last minute. Like I've been seeing like YouTube shorts and like videos being like, "Oh, sandbagging is totally viable in Mario Kart World," and it's like I'm just like sitting here like, "Are you sure?" Getting from last place to the front of the pack is really fucking tough. Like front running and keeping up front running, if you can keep it up for the whole match, that's like good. That's a good strategy. But you've got to like be able to dodge the shit, you know, and you've got to be able to recover. But like moving from the back of the pack to the front of the pack, it's just it's brutal. Simply because the middle of the pack is so chaotic due to just the sheer amount of characters in the game, you know, or players in the game. Now, sometimes in online, you'll end up with like a smaller player count in your match, just because the room isn't filled up and it needs to start a race. But you know, your max player count's 24, and the middle of the pack during that can just be rough. I don't know why I used this mushroom just now, but you know what? We're on the final lap. Why not? Yeah, I one of my biggest hopes, and like they got to do this as like a free update if they do it right, is that like the at some point they add in the ability to play online without the intermission tracks. You know, the driving between places tracks. Because like if you don't pick random every time, 90% of your races are going to be driving between places tracks, which means 90% of your races are technically going to be like the one lap courses. As in like you drive from one point to another and there's no circuit to it. It's really just one lap. And that's listen, while that can work, it works really well for the knockout tour. I think it works well enough for the Grand Prix. Um, in online, which essentially is just you know a long series of versus matches, I don't really want it. I don't really want to keep going long splits of time. I was more okay with them when I first got my hands on the game, but the longer I'm having this game, the more it's annoying me that sometimes I can't just play the course I want to play, and I've got to drive there, and then I only get one real lap of it. You know, and I think most of the online meta is like understanding people who are like actually playing the game and like playing the game. I feel like are realizing you got to pick random. That's why you see so many people pick random here on like in online. You know, um, just simply because it's like the way to get uh stuff. Yeah, it's the way to get an actual circuit rather than drive here and then you only get one lap. That's I think that's like probably my overall review of this game is that I have like a lot of little things about it that I wish were different, but I feel like overall the fun and the pros outweigh all of those cons. Like, do I think it's weird that the NPC slash creature characters uh, don't get costumes? Yes. It is absolutely weird that characters like Cal aren't allowed to have a costume. It is absolutely weird that Dry Bones doesn't get to have costumes. Because he is considered an NPC racer. And this is what I'm saying. Once you get out of, like, the front running, you get into, like, a little bit of the middle of the pack, it is rough. Because the middle of the pack is the most volatile place. Luckily, that didn't turn out too bad for me there. But still, I think there was less players in that round, too. Um, like, look at that. Look at just how many people just there picked random. Like, that's what you gotta do. It's what you have to do if you don't want just the long, boring race between places thing. Canoli earlier mentioned the DK Bonanza Direct, and I am looking forward to that. Something about this game that is just, it's wild speculation, really. But, like, it's something that I personally think has got to be something they're holding onto. I think they're holding on to, like, a Donkey Kong content pack. Um, because out of the characters who do have costumes in the game, the only two who only have one costume are Donkey Kong and Paulie. And that's, like, that's weird. That's really weird. Especially for Donkey Kong. How are you going to make Donkey Kong only have one costume? He's one of the main characters. Like, in the Nintendo counts Donkey Kong Jr. as being, like, Donkey Kong perfect attendance on the rosters. He's had perfect attendance every Mario Kart game. Right? So, like, it's really weird, and especially with how much they're trying to push Donkey Kong as, like, a character in a brand right now. But with, like, Nintendo World and DK Bonanza and all that shit. All the merchandising, everything. It's really odd that, like, Donkey Kong in this game just does not have much of anything to his name. Sure, he has DK Pass and DK Spaceport, but, you know, that's two stages, that's fine. But I'm talking, like, there's two Donkey Kong characters. One of them, some people might not even barely consider a Donkey Kong character, which is being Pauline. And both of them only get one costume each? There's something happening here. Like, where's Diddy Kong? Where's the costumes? What's happening? So I think they're holding back, like, again, wild speculation. I think they've got to be holding back, like, a Donkey Kong content pack to release alongside Bonanza. I mean, that just seems kind of smart in my mind. Um, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that is my theory for this game. That are going to be fairly soon getting a DK content pack. Whether that just be more costumes for Donkey Kong and Pauline, whether that include Diddy Kong, which if it includes Diddy Kong, it's probably paid. I don't know. Um, I just think it's really interesting how much they're trying to push Donkey Kong as a brand, and then Donkey Kong just does not get much in this. In their launch title, you know? So like I am intrigued to see what happens. Maybe they were like holding back on Diddy Kong or whatever other Donkey Kong characters they wanted to put in because they knew that they weren't going to reveal them for Donkey Kong Bonanza yet. Uh, and we're holding them off. I don't know. I mean, there's every chance that somehow in hell King K. Rool gets shown in 2 days. In that direct for DK Bonanza, right? And if he gets shown as like the main villain of DK Bonanza, as like a character in DK Bonanza, even, I mean, I think that alone ups his chances of being in Mario Kart World. So that's possible. Um, Likely, I don't know about likely, but it's possible. It surely is possible. Oh hell, they got turned into Conktors up here. That's one of the characters I don't have. Damn it! And I didn't get caught in Kamek's. Ah, oh, that's so annoying. That's one of the annoying things about this game, in my opinion. The fact that like so many characters are locked behind the RNG of the Kamek item. Locked behind the RNG of, are you lucky enough at the right moment on the right stage for Kamek to bless you with the character you want? The only two I haven't gotten yet are Conqueror and Rocky Wrench. And I just have not gotten lucky enough to get them. Also, second place, hell yeah. That's a good spot. That's a good spot, methinks. Viewer count's a little bit low this morning, but you know, haven't streamed forever. It's also a morning stream, and I don't know how those go. I don't have a morning audience built up from past viewers. You know, like people like Grilled Cheese who are usually here for every stream. I have no clue if Grilled Cheese would even be awake at this time of day, or if Grilled Cheese even wants to watch the streams anymore. Um, but also, are we in the mirror world right now, or am I just going backwards? I think I'm just going backwards on the track. Um, yeah, this morning stream is just entirely experimental. I'm gonna keep doing more daytime streams. Maybe not so early in the morning. Maybe sometime around noon. Maybe sometime around 1 or 2 p.m., you know? I'm gonna try some stuff out. And of course, I'm gonna do night streams too. Um, because, you know, it's something I'm figuring is like, hey, if I'm just sitting here playing video games alone, doing nothing, why not turn on, you know, the stream? try and get that building up again. I don't have to be sitting here doing nothing alone, you know? At least when the stream's on, it feels somewhat productive to be sitting here playing video games and doing nothing else. But at the end of the day, I am just still sitting here on my ass playing video games.
Turkey sandwich.
Man, it's been a hot minute since I heard turkey sandwich. Sorry, I had to sit up in my chair. I was getting too lean back. How about that upcoming Amazing Digital Circus? How we feel about the Amazing Digital Circus? Do we love Pomni here? Do we love Pomni? Everybody? In my opinion, the last episode, the fast food one, is actually their best episode they've put out. I think it is worth continuing to watch. I think if you didn't think the first episode was all too great, I think give it a little bit more of a chance. It might surprise you. And if you still don't like it, you might just not like it. I personally am garnering more and more enjoyment every episode that comes out. Because I personally just think they're getting better and better. Also, wow. Ugh. Well, I was briefly in 11th again. Alright, good to have you here, Rubik's Cube. Thank you for continuing to subscribe to me on Twitch for all this time. I really do appreciate it. Said earlier in the stream, something I'm going to look into trying is streaming on both YouTube and Twitch. I think I'd have to set up Restream, I think it's called, to do that. I figure I'll look into doing that, simply because I already got, I have 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's not a humble brag, that's just me stating facts. I got them from doing a Friday Night Funkin' animation when Friday Night Funkin' was fucking huge. And you know what? I might as well take advantage of that, you know? Why not take advantage of an existing, viewer base? Well, that sounds very manipulative. You know what I mean when I say that. Why not take advantage of an opportunity that is already there, is what I meant. Not, why not take advantage of people? You know. We've been going for a good hour. I think maybe Rainbow Road's a good place to wrap up the stream. So yeah, I think after this one, I'm gonna wrap it up for now. I think it's nice to get a little hour-long stream here in the morning. Um, maybe even stream later tonight. Who knows? I plan on cooking spaghetti tonight. It could be good to come in after a good spaghetti dinner. Yeah, the Rainbow Road in this game is super cool. This area of it right here really reminds me of like the Starhaven areas from like the RPG type games, which I don't know if that's what they were going for. And it's obvious to me they just wanted an excuse to use their cool new water shit on Rainbow Road, so they made like a little water area. But I don't know, it reminds me of Starhaven, stuff like that. You know, the place what the seven star spirits or Geno or whatever would be from. And in those games, when you do go to the Star Haven or Star Road or whatever the hell they want to call it, um, they usually take a Rainbow Road. So why not have that be connected? And this is such a cool thing, this space station. Um, it's, you know, it's clearly, it being a space station is a reference to the Mario Kart 8 Rainbow Road. But then, like, the second half of the, this portion of Rainbow Road here, where it gets all, like, angular and full of, like, thwomps, is very clearly, like, a reference to, SNES Rainbow Road. Yeah, this part right here. And then, after this... Oh, also, just in general, if you actually, like, you know, take the camera around this stage, you know, if you're, like, playing single player and you open up, like, photo mode or something, right? You can see that the stage is all, like, the satellite that's on, it's all, like, Game & Watch themed, like all the rockets from, DK Spaceport. In fact, I saw just then that one of the rockets from DK Spaceport is attached to that satellite station. So, like, yeah, that's clear that satellite was launched from DK Spaceport, which is cool. It's super cool. Super cool that ties into, like, theming from the rest of the game. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna be about a fifth place, or sixth, or seventh. Sixth, seventh. That's an okay ranking. Rankin Bass. Cool little word association right there. Yeah, that's not bad. And I think that's a good place to leave this here stream on. I think that was a good little bit of a stream. Sure. Let's see. I'm out of here. Yeah, and so, Mario Kart World, super fun. Love to play it again on stream. Um, I think just about an hour of playing on stream. I think that's all that really needs. Maybe for a different stream. I don't really have anything else planned for right now, so I think I'll leave this stream where it is. Might go take a nap. Who knows? Uh, but I think it's just about a little hour of streaming. The online's good. Maybe a different stream. It could be a segment. And then like a different thing, a different part of the stream, go and do something else. Who knows? Um, but yeah, I think that's this stream for now. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with me in this experimental morning stream. Any new viewers? Thank you to anyone who just popped in, didn't stick around. You're all appreciated. And I mean it this time. I actually mean it this time. I'm gonna try to do this more. I'm gonna try to stream more, whether it be daytime, nighttime, whatever. Now's my attempt. Now's my time. So yeah, that I think that was good. Hope you all have a good rest of your days, and that will be all from me. Good. I'm so used to streaming at night that I would usually say good night, but yeah, have a good rest of your day. I guess that's where I gotta leave it off. See y'all